Breaking news. The vault is open and the fright reels have escaped. With your hosts, the Jims. Sit back and put on that raincoat because it's going to get bloody.
Bloody awful if you ask me.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Look at me, Damien. It's all for you.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
You can't kill the boogeyman.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
I am Dracula. I bid you welcome.
I want to play a game.
They're here.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
This is my boomstick!
I will not be threatened by a walking meatloaf.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
The box. You opened it. We came.
Come and play with us, Daddy. Forever. And ever. And ever.
What's that like to live deliciously?
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
All right, welcome everybody. It is Fright Reels, episode 4. Tell them what we're going to talk about today, James.
Hellraiser and Baskin.
That's right. Currently, and it might change, but our format for the moment is trying to do sort of a retrospective on an older film, one that we all know and love, and then a review on something newer. Because we were talking about newer being, what?
Under 10 years.
110 years?
Under 10 years.
Oh.
Under.
110 years is not new, dude. Yes, 10 years. That sounds fair. 10 years is a newer movie, I guess. Yeah, that's...
So Baskin is from 2015.
I can't believe it's that old already, dude. It's
And
9 fucking
I bet
years
you
ago.
most of you have not heard of it.
Yeah, Baskin's rad. And then Hellraiser, obviously. Again, we were talking about the idea of trying to match up movies that are sort of similar in type or genre, and I think we're going to run out of that ability, dude, after a little bit.
Yeah.
But for today, I think we got it right.
Because both these movies have to deal with hell and
Right.
people descending to hell.
Right. And they're both sort of artsy, fantasy-ish a little bit, you know?
Yep.
But we were talking, give us a little background on Hellraiser.
So 1987.
Yeah.
Directed by Clive Barker.
Yeah.
And written.
Yeah, and
He
that's
wrote
another...
The Hellbound Heart,
Yeah.
which this was based off.
I like that book. It was short, right? It's like
Yes,
80
it was
pages. or
short.
something.
Yeah, it was a short story.
But there's a problem here with these goddamn writers trying to be directors.
Yeah.
They're not good, Jim. Do you think Stephen King is listening?
I hope so.
Listen up, dude. I mean, they're great writers, but they're not really great directors. Although I really love Nightbreed, which we looked up, and it turns out Clive Barker directed Nightbreed too. I mean, as well.
Also.
Yeah, in addition to. But I don't know. He didn't direct that much shit, did he? Let's look him up while we're talking. All right, give us some more Hellraiser stuff.
So the guy that played Pinhead, Doug Bradley.
Yeah.
His inspiration for Pinhead was the 1973 Hunters in the Snow. It's a play where the character said, "We'll tear your soul apart."
Ah.
And that's where you got the line for Pinhead.
Didn't you tell me he came up with the line?
Mm-hmm.
As an improv?
We'll tear your soul apart.
Didn't you tell me that he was in that play too?
Yes.
Was that his character that he played? Like he said it in that play?
Yes.
And
he
then
said
stole
that
it?
in the yes.
Well, good job. I can't seem to find shit about what Clive Barker did and didn't direct, but who cares? Let's talk about Hellraiser. Now, Hellraiser 1987, like I said, I mean, it feels a little corny now, or a lot corny now, but at the time, that was a game changer, man.
Yeah.
You remember everybody kind of freaked out about it.
Yeah, my friend Charlie saw it, and he called me that night, and he said, "You got to see this movie."
Yeah, I had a friend. What the fuck was that kid's name, man? I had this nutty friend. I used to work at Geppetto's, and the owners were Polish, from Poland, Polish. Lucas, that was his name. And they both had really strong accents. Their son's name was Lucas. He was kind of an arrogant guy, but he was like really into goth industrial, like Skinny Puppy and shit like that. He actually even played in a band that played that kind of music, and he was really into Hellraiser. It was great, man. It was, like I said, it was kind of the high watermark.
Yeah.
By which everything else after that was sort of judged, and everything kind of looked like that. Like we were saying, sort of the Matrix. After the Matrix came out, like everything was kind of Matrix-y for a while. And it's that way with a lot of albums, and definitely with Hellraiser.
I mean, that spawned a lot of marketing years later. You know, I've got 2 Hellraiser boxes in my office.
I have one in mine as well.
And, I mean, you could find Hellraiser stuff everywhere.
Actually, I have 2 if you count the little tiny one that Julia's holding.
Well, I've got one Pinhead's holding, so yeah, I have 3 then.
Do I have Pinhead? I might have Pinhead. I have Julia from episode 2 with no skin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good...
That's the best Julia.
It is. Dude, she's fucking annoying. Everybody in that goddamn first movie. The dad, Larry, is the only human that's not off-putting to me, but you don't like him.
I don't like him.
I didn't like Frank. I didn't like Kirsty.
Especially when he cut his hand and he's walking downstairs with it just bleeding everywhere, and then make this big dramatic scene about it. Oh.
That's some acting there. I like his acting though when he's got Frank inside of him and he's like possessed. That was fun. For some reason, Kirsty annoys me. Julie outright sucks. Frank's a dick.
Yeah, the acting was not good. I mean, even Frank, oh my God, he's just...
You know what bothers me, man, about that movie? I've said it a million times. I'm going to say it for the first time on fucking air. Is starting with that stupid fucking movie. Well, that's a great movie. But starting with that movie and everything after it, everything was so fucking wet. Like every special effect was slime, dude.
Yeah, it was all slime.
It was a late 80s, 90s thing that just add a bunch of slime to it and it makes it all the creepier. It does not. It makes it look stupid and it fucking sucks.
He slimed me.
I actively protested anything that had slimy creatures in it. I really did. I was really upset about it for a long time. And it was just fucking garbage. And there's way too much of that. It looks like they're melting a fucking candle or something.
A lot of it was wax, and they reversed the film.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, that's all fine and well. And, you know, I guess he would be really wet when he didn't have his skin or whatever. But it was just so much glycerin. Anyway, thank God they saved it with the electricity special effects. Little yellow bolts going through everything. Yeah. That's good stuff on that one.
So, and Clive Barker said the Cenobites were influenced by the punk, Catholicism, and visits to the S&M clubs in New York and Amsterdam.
Well, I'm not.
Which I'm sure he went to anyway.
Yeah, I'm not terribly surprised by that. And, hey, what the hell's wrong with it, man? If you enjoy hanging out at S&M clubs, then hang out at S&M clubs, damn it.
Yeah.
And let it leak into your literature.
So Pinhead, Doug Bradley was kept away from the cast.
Really? That's fun. I like when they do that.
So they didn't even know him at the party at the end, the closing party, because they always saw him in the mask and always saw him in the
oh, no
outfit,
shit.
Yeah.
I heard the same thing with Pennywise, that the kids didn't meet him except in makeup. That the first time they met Skarsgård or whatever, he was wearing makeup or whatever. And who knows, some of that stuff could be urban legend, but it's fun.
Just like we just saw Longlegs. In Longlegs, she just saw him, you know, in the interrogation scene.
Oh, dude, that's good. We got to do that.
Yeah.
That movie was fucking fun.
There she is, the almost birthday girl.
But Hellraiser. Okay, so it's real simple. I mean, everybody's seen it, right? Everybody loves it. As much as we're ripping on it and making fun of it, man, it's brilliant writing. The story's unbelievable. And the movie for the time was the pinnacle, man. What else? Weren't we talking about? So, like, other stuff that came out at the time, you can sort of see why Hellraiser was so shocking in '87. I mean, dude, that was like pre-Simpsons.
Yeah, Lost Boys came out that year.
Lost Boys, which was really great. Maybe kind of scary, but it wasn't unsettling.
No.
Not like Hellraiser was, you know. And there was a whole bunch of, it's hard for people who weren't there. And even for those of us that were there, we're all so jaded now. It's hard to kind of put your mind back to 1987 to like how shocking that was. But I'm going to use The Simpsons as an example. Is the first year of The Simpsons, the first season, which was 1990, I believe. I'm going to say 89 or 90. Bart was basically the main character, and he was in every episode was about Bart. And all of the like religious groups and parent groups were so upset that he was disrespectful to adults that from season 2 on, it's almost exclusively Homer episodes.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want him saying "eat my shorts" and being disrespectful. He was basically, and I remember him saying hell. And it was like shocking that he said hell on TV because he was in church. He's like, I sure as hell can't talk about hell.
I sure as hell can't tell you we learned about hell unless I say hell, can I?
Yeah, the lad has a point.
Hell yes.
So stuff like that, stuff that subtle was like shaking the core of the country. And then motherfucking Pinhead comes out, man.
The box. You opened it. We came.
So, you know what I mean? 3 years earlier. And so, I mean, it was really, it was a different time, man. It was more shocking than I think people understand now. It's so hard to shock anybody now. You know what I mean?
I mean, back then, you rarely saw a movie that had to do with hell or any kind of portal to hell or anything.
Actually, you're right.
And after
I
that,
didn't even think of that.
After that, you got Constantine, Drag Me to Hell.
Oh yeah.
Event Horizon was kind of
hellish. Event Horizon is definitely a
really
rip-off of
Yeah.
Hellraiser.
Well, yeah, it had a lot to do with that. In the Mouth of Madness, it was very similar.
I love In the Mouth of Madness. That's a good one. We should do that one. Yeah. That one feels really Stephen King-esque without being a Stephen King story.
Yeah, the writer and everything.
Yeah, but no, I mean it just, I don't know, man. It was like it kind of had the effect at the time that Human Centipede had when it came out. Obviously, it's a better movie. It's not the same stupid fucking thing. I just mean the effect that it had on the audience and sort of the ripples that people kind of were whispering about. You know, what the fuck did I just see? And Hellraiser had that effect on people, man. Like, they didn't really know what to do. And I don't think a movie had been that shockingly, more or less disturbing or whatever to people since Exorcist.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Jim?
I just like the chains. There's chains everywhere.
There are, with hooks on them.
Yeah.
You know who knows about that?
Who?
Larry and Frank.
Yes, they do.
Jesus wept.
Jesus wept.
That's what I heard.
They're ripping his face apart, dude. I told you I had that T-shirt.
Yeah.
There used to be a great website called RottenCotton.com that had the best shirts, and I still have some. They're over 20 years old, and they're in absolutely perfect condition.
That website still going?
No, I looked it up today. There's places that have some of their old shirts that still sell them. And what's interesting is I used to see them at horror festivals. They used to come to, there used to be one in Cleveland. God, I can't remember what it was called. It doesn't really matter. But there used to be one in Cleveland in addition to the one that goes on now. It doesn't matter. But they were always there, and they were cool. If you wore their shirt, then they'd give you a discount.
Yeah, I remember. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and that was the first place I met Tom Savini. I met Linda Blair there.
Well, I didn't realize Clive Barker also wrote the screenplays to Underworld, not the vampire movie, but an older movie called Underworld.
Really?
Transmutations and
Rawhead Rex.
Rawhead Rex.
I knew Rawhead Rex. Cinema Wasteland.
Oh, okay.
Cinema Wasteland is the current one, and I like it a lot. Before that, there was one, I can't remember what it was called, Fright Vision or something weird like that. And I saw that, I went to that one at the Sheraton in downtown Cleveland, and then it moved around. It was in Westlake a couple times. And I met some really cool people there. I met Gil Gerard because there was Buck Rogers. Gil Gerard and Aaron Gray were there.
Wow.
In fact, all in the same year, it was Gil Gerard and Aaron Gray, Tracy Lords. What's her hotness from Beastmaster?
Oh, yeah.
And Midge from the 70s show. What the hell's that lady's name? She's died not long ago. She was basically flawlessly gorgeous.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was in Tourist Trap. And so she was there because it was a DVD release.
Tanya Roberts.
Yeah. She was so sweet. She couldn't believe that. So it was a DVD release of Tourist Trap, which we're definitely going to review. And she couldn't believe how many people came out because of Tourist Trap. She was like, it was just this little movie I did and nobody really cared. And I can't believe you people are so sweet. And oh, God, dude, she was gorgeous at 60 or however old she was then. Yeah, I was a big Tanya Roberts fan. She was a Bond girl, too.
Which movie?
Yeah, a stupid one.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't know, Moonraker or Octopussy or something.
Yeah.
Octopussy. Oh, mercy. All right, back to Hellraiser. So, every human sucks. Every Cenobite's awesome. Although that's the first female. I like the second female Cenobite better.
Yeah.
There's two different ones.
Yeah.
And it's pre-Chatterer. He's not in the first one, is he? I feel like he's not.
He's in the first one.
Is he?
I thought.
Okay. He's the best anyway. He's always been the best.
And Butterball.
Hey, I don't like Butterball.
No.
Guess what he is? Fucking slimy.
Yeah.
He's
he
all
was
glistening and shit.
A little sweaty.
Yeah, he sucks. Chatterer's great,
Yeah.
dude. He's better than the guy with the CDs in his head.
Oh, what, part 3? Oh, my
Oh,
God.
God. So we both agree 2's the best, right?
Yes, I think 2's the best. I didn't mind 3. 3 showed a lot of
3's
stuff.
fun.
It showed a little bit of Pinhead's, the guy that became Pinhead. What
His
history
backstory.
was.
Yeah, that was cool. Well, that's why I like 4 so much, because it's the
Yeah.
history of the toy maker.
Bloodlines, yeah.
Yeah, that was, and it was in outer
good.
space. Everything was kind of in outer space for a minute, like Jason
Yeah,
X.
yeah.
And then, and was there a leprechaun in space? I don't know.
Maybe.
There was a leprechaun in the hood.
Yeah.
All right, but speaking of leprechaun, Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
That's fun. How about
They
that?
always start out with a horror movie.
Yeah, some of them make it. Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
George Clooney. He was in Return to Horror High.
Oh, okay.
So was Maureen McCormick was in that, wiping blood all over her boobs. Like she was a cop and she was like wiping blood on her cleavage or something. It's really odd. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
I got the movie poster because it's
will
like a
now.
skeleton cheerleader. Yeah, we got to watch it. It's I want to say 88, 89, 90, where it was kind of that weird thing, like the 80s horror movie thing was over and like the Ring or the Scream 90s horror thing hadn't started yet. And there's this sort of wasteland in the late 80s and early 90s, kind of like in music, where there was just some weird movies. That was one of them. Popcorn was one of them. You remember Popcorn?
No.
You never saw that? The what do you call it? The chick in it you would recognize. She was really cute. She was in a bunch of stuff in the 80s and 90s. Black hair, kind of innocent girl vibe. And the killer was that big dopey dude who was in everything. The hell was he? He was in. Did you ever see? What was the one with Clint Eastwood? Hacksaw Ridge or no? Heartbreak Ridge. Did you ever see Heartbreak Ridge?
No.
What about One Crazy Summer?
Yes.
With John Cusack?
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember the two idiot brothers? One was Bobcat Goldthwait,
Right,
and
right.
the other was that big, tall, goofy guy?
Yeah.
He's the bad guy in Popcorn.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't remember that actor's name. He was in a bunch of stuff back then, though.
Popcorn.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Anyway, it falls in there, same area. All right, back to Hellraiser.
So the box, the lament configuration, which you didn't know what that was called until I think part 2.
Man, that was inspired, dude. That fucking box. I wonder how he came up with that idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't read about
I wonder
that.
if something.
But I know you can go on. There's a website called the Pyramid Gallery. It's pyramid-gallery.com. And this guy makes all these custom
I think I knew
Hellraiser
that,
boxes.
yeah.
They're really nice and like $100, $200. It's still
I don't think I
still
want one.
running.
I don't
And
think I want one that
If you
nice.
remember, the Pyramid Gallery was in part 3 as
Oh,
a
yeah.
storefront
For that dude.
for that guy.
Yeah, that guy was a slimy dick.
Yeah.
I wonder, though, where he came up with that box. Perhaps was he at an S&M club and someone invited them to touch their box?
Probably. Yes. Shiny boxes.
Oh, gosh darn it. All right, well, that was fucking genius, the box. That's always so weird, though, because, no, I guess it's not. I could never figure out how and why the box worked. So, like, if you open up this box, you open the door to hell, they're allowed to come out, everything's fucking hell. But if you close the box, then you send them all back to hell.
I don't know if it was closing. I think there's different configurations you can do with it. Like it turned into the Leviathan shape.
Oh, I remember that, yeah. So, like, basically, there's a set of commands.
Yeah, it's a key. I mean,
it's many keys.
Yes.
Okay, that makes more sense, Jimmy. I get that.
It was made by the French Le Marchand.
Oui.
He in the book he was a creator. He made singing bird toys.
Oh, really?
And then something, yeah. So I think in part 4.
Is it in league with part 4?
I don't know. He was a toy maker.
I don't think Clive Barker had anything to do with them by about
No,
part 4.
no. I don't
Probably
think
not 3 either, I don't think.
I don't know. Because there's a whole story with the movie.
Dude, they get so bad.
The production company took over rights, and there was something.
Did you see 5?
Probably. I've seen them all. I just don't remember the later ones.
Dude, they got so bad with Craig Sheffer and shit.
Yeah, was it the last one? Was it Judgment?
Last one was pretty good.
Yeah,
they like
not
audited
talking about the new Hulu one, but
no,
yeah.
They like audited dude like before he was going to hell, and they kind of went through his life. Although it didn't have to be a Hellraiser movie, like that was in and of itself a pretty decent horror movie.
Or it didn't have to have Pinhead because he looked kind of funny.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it didn't. That wasn't. That could have just been its own horror movie. There was one though with. Wasn't there one with Frank Black too? Who's the dude from Millennium?
Oh yeah.
Was he in one of them?
The android from Alien.
Yeah, I feel like he was.
Yeah, I think it was. It might have been that one.
Maybe. Craig Sheffer was in one of them. He's the dude. He's Boone from Nightbreed.
Yeah.
And he was in the program and all that shit.
One. Yeah, he was in like part 5 or 6. That was really bad.
We got to do Nightbreed, dude. I really like that. Ever tell you the first time I saw that we were on mushrooms?
Yeah.
We drove to the drive-in movie and watched Die Hard 2 and Nightbreed. Wow.
On shrooms.
Yeah, and shrooms. Phooey. Yeah, deep fried with some ranch sauce on the side. So,
so in the books, Pinhead he called him the Hell Priest, and in the Scarlet Gospel books, which was like only a few years ago, they didn't like to be called Pinhead. It was derogatory, so it made him mad to be called that.
Oh, really?
That was more of the movie thing that,
like Babyface Nelson didn't want to be called Babyface.
George Nelson, not Babyface.
Huh? Yeah, you know why? Because he was never named Pinhead in the first in Hellbound Heart at all.
No.
Dude, that's a really good book. Hellbound Heart was really good.
Yeah.
I like novellas like that I can breeze through because I can't invest fucking a week in reading. I'm just an idiot. But did you read Cabal?
No.
The Nightbreed book?
No.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a good one, I heard.
It's damn good. All right, so basically, when it starts out, is Frank already dead?
Yeah.
But Julia had been banging him for years.
Yeah, and he showed up. Yeah.
And then,
so
where'd the box come from?
Well, if you remember in the beginning, he went to some market or some place out. It was some other country.
Like Gremlins?
Yeah. And some bum came up to him, had bugs all over him.
Did he try to sell him the bathroom buddy?
What's your pleasure, sir?
What's your pleasure, sir?
And then he sold him the box, and because he was looking for something, because he was a corrupted fuck.
I like Snotty in Revenge of the Nerds too. Do you remember Snotty?
No.
He was teaching Booger how to be
Oh, yeah. I remember that now.
Snotty. Oh, Jesus. All right, yeah, so the bum fucking gets him the box to Frank or to
Frank.
And Frank gets sucked up by everything.
Yeah, they show him summoning,
That's right.
When the circle
But how does Julia or Kirsten or Larry get the box?
Well, if he did it in that house.
Oh, I see. And they took the house over when...
And that's where the blood, that's where he...
It was in the floorboards.
Yes, and he came back.
Yeah.
His blood on the floor. It brought me back.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, too, that movie... I never thought of it, but that movie could almost be done as a play. It kind of only takes place in like 1 or 2 different rooms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, they have the Saw play.
It's a musical. It's coming to the Palace. It's coming to the Palace in August, dude. You want to go?
Sure.
Dude, we saw the Evil Dead musical. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh my God, is that fucking great.
All the men in my life keep getting killed by Kandarian demons.
All the men in your life keep getting killed by Kandarian
We
demons.
saw it twice. One time out in the middle of the woods, dude. These people like cleared out a thing in the cornfield and built the cabin and a stage and did it live in a cornfield in October.
Wow. Huh.
And it's a musical. Like the first few rows are kind of like Gallagher, like it's the splatter zone.
Yeah.
So people wear raincoats and shit because you get covered in blood. And there's even the scene with the tree is like a romance song. It's like a love song with her in the tree, kind of. I think it's definitely the trees in it. Oh mercy! All right, so then, yeah, all right. So I mean, the short version is Hellraiser. It didn't hold up well effects-wise. Doug Bradley's performance held up well.
Yeah.
Doug Bradley's makeup held up well. The acting didn't. The special effects didn't. even the story was a little bit kind of, it was okay, I guess. It laid the groundwork. But, I mean, obviously it's
really a love story.
At the time, between who and who?
Frank and Julia.
That's a lust story.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the love story, I think, is between Pinhead and Kirsten.
Maybe.
Or me and the female Cenobite.
Sure. She had an open throat.
Yeah. I like my woman throaty. Like Kirstie Alley. But she was throaty.
Throaty.
Yeah, like, you know, talked like with
Not true. Yeah.
a deep voice or whatever. Like, sounds like she always had a cold.
All right.
I like making out with girls whose noses are running.
That's again with the wet slimy shit.
Yeah, fuckers, man. See that they did to me? Anyway, so that's our thing on Hellraiser. That obviously, right? I mean, is that about right?
Yeah.
It was great for what it was, and it ushered in an entire new era of, thank God, kicked the door open to go from... So 80s slasher films had sort of turned into the hair band of music, where like the first few were really cool, and then there was just a bunch of copycats, and it just got so watered down and dumb that it was just pointless. And then grunge came around and fixed everything, and it's like Hellraiser came around and fixed 80s slashers films and gave them a new direction to go for horror. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
All right, then.
Yeah, there's I even think role-playing games, tabletop role-playing games, there's one called Cult, and it came from Sweden, and it's very similar to Hellraiser. So there's a lot of different...
Right?
Yeah. There's a lot of different things that it influenced.
You do role-playing games when you're visiting S&M clubs, Jim?
Yeah.
Is that what this is?
Play Cult and...
At the Blue Oyster Bar?
No, not that one.
Oh, we should do Police Academy 2, pretend like it's a horror movie.
Huh.
Let's do Police Academy, what was it, 4 Citizens on Patrol? Oh, my God, dude. Then they had a cartoon and everything. You remember that? Police Academy had a cartoon?
Bad. So bad.
The first one was kind of raunchy.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, we should take a stupid comedy and turn it into a horror.
Well, we were talking about that last night. Remember that, like, if you change the music in, like, The Shining and it becomes corny, I wonder if you put horror music in between, like, we could re-edit a Police Academy with horror music and make it seem like it's a horror movie, like do a trailer. Man, that's a fucking good idea, dude. I want to work on that. Jim, you're a genius. All right, well, so that's Hellraiser, right?
That is. That is.
And that brings us to our next subject. We're going to review the 1927 French film, Baskin.
1927?
What year was it?
2015.
And it was Turkish.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was close.
Subtitles, which I shy away from, but this one was okay.
We're getting you there, though. You're coming along.
Yeah.
That was one of the, subtitles. Yeah, so again, right, all joking aside, it's a Turkish film with Turkish subtitles made in, what again, 2010, did you say? 2015. 2015. So 9 years old already, which blows my mind. So let's give a little background on this. First of all, how many fucking Turkish filmmakers are there? I can't think there's many.
I didn't even know there was a Turkish horror movie.
I didn't know there was a Turkish film company.
Right.
I assume that it's one of those things like it's the National Film Company of Turkey and they put out one movie and this year it happens to be horror.
Yeah, but we're spoiled Americans. We think we're the only ones that do anything. No other countries do anything.
Frankly, all the better horror movies I've seen in the last 10 years are foreign. I mean, with the exception of, Hereditary and The Witch.
Yeah.
But anyway, right, so this one came out in 2015, and I remember it was going to play on a Sunday in, like, Westlake, and I was getting Mary all fired up about it, and I was like, all right, we're going to go see this, and she was like, what the hell is this? And I broke it down to her, and she was like, she didn't know what the hell to think. She was like, okay, whatever. So I'm all ready. However, the night before that Saturday, they released it on Prime for, like, $10 to rent. And I'm like, well, fuck, we're going to watch it at home, man.
Right.
There's a bathroom and a refrigerator and a couch. And so I got to watch it the night before, and man, that movie blew my mind, dude. The first time I saw it, it absolutely blew my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it twice now, and it to me, it was a little slow at the beginning. because you don't know what to expect. But I did notice right away, like, the editing was really good.
Yeah. The music, too, man.
Yeah.
Right away, the music is, it's Shining-esque, the music.
So
I got a lot of Shining vibe out of it.
There's a scene in the beginning, going into the diner where these 4 cops are, and it transitions from the back of this van through the window, and you're in the van, and then out the van. The way they edited it, that was really good.
And you and I both have discussed that there's many movies where they do that, and you and I have both sort of been students of that shot, and how well a movie does that shot sort of determines how well the filmmaking is.
Right.
The transitioning through a window thing. And that one was flawless.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I guess you could say it's slow. I would say it's, the first half is sort of like a development of the story. But it's interesting too, because it's kind of like the second half is so crazy that the first half being extremely slow makes the craziness all the crazier.
Yeah.
But
they were setting up.
It's got kind of that 2 movies in one vibe, like From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Like the first half of From Dusk Till Dawn is one movie. Then they get to the Titty Twister, and the second half of From Dusk Till Dawn is another movie.
Welcome to the Titty Twister.
And that's kind of the way Baskin is. It's like the first half, although the story arc is the same, the first half is a different vibe, man.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what's interesting is the opening scene is foreshadowing. You don't know it yet, but the rate off the jump, the first fucking shot is foreshadowing.
Yeah.
You know what I really dig about that first shot, too? Is how Turkish it is, because all of the toys are knockoffs.
Oh, yeah.
They've got like a He-Man body, but like with a serpent head, like they got the molds from somebody that threw them away, and they're making their own shitty toys. Have you ever seen those online?
Yeah.
Where it's like Spider Dude or something,
Right.
or Bat Guy, and they had a bunch of those toys, man.
Yeah, and the sound I noticed too. They show them cutting meat in the kitchen. It's so loud, like the meat.
Yeah,
you just hear
the
it
visceralness.
Ripping. Yeah,
even the meat, even the sound of the mom fucking that the kid had to hear the next room over.
That's right. Yeah.
So that kid wakes up from a nightmare, not sure what the hell's going on, goes to his mom to get help, can hear she's banging. We think, because it kind of abruptly stops.
Yeah, it turns a little weird. Her moans, and then it stops.
And kind of abruptly so.
So, we assume she just got killed.
And then that hand comes out to get him.
Yeah.
But then you find out it's part of the loop, dude.
So, yeah, obviously spoilers. Yeah,
all of our shows contain spoilers.
We assume most of you have not seen this movie because it is out there.
Should we not? Should we just talk about how we like it and not talk about the story?
What do you want to do?
I don't know. What do they expect of us?
Nothing.
I don't hear them telling me anything. Let me see a show of hands. Fuck it, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
We just don't have to lay out the story from beginning to end or whatever. We can just talk about the highlights. But for example, the music, I have a note here that the music was really intense and foreboding. It really was.
Yeah.
And like in The Shining and other things we've talked about, where this sort of, and many of the scenes, even in the diner, it starts setting up this real tense feeling with the music where you're like, what the fuck's going on, man? And as a horror movie audience, we're all sophisticated enough now that you get that feeling. When you hear something like that, you're like, all right, something's coming. And half of it was that dude telling stories about fucking animals.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then the cops, they seem very corrupt. And at first I thought maybe I was starting to pick out the 7 sins. Like
you
were
mentioned
starting
that
to do
with lust,
but yeah, it didn't continue.
But you're right. They were cops being sort of corrupt cops, sort of being maybe not all of them as much. It's just like in anything in life. Yeah. I mean, some of them were more so. Some of them were just looking the other way. 1 or 2 of them were trying to be good guys, and then and it's just dudes being dudes telling stories about sex and chicks and gambling, and the one dude talking about. He had some crazy stories. I'll leave it to the viewer.
Yeah.
Listen to it. It's funny. You gotta watch sort of what he's saying. When I say watch, obviously, unless you speak Turkish, you're reading subtitles. But it's really worth watching because it was really funny. And then It turned into a Turkish dance party in the van. Or they were playing the music.
Oh my God.
And they were hugging each other and dancing and shit.
Yeah.
Man, I have not been to a good Turkish dance party in I don't know how long. I need some Turkish delight, Jim.
So they get a call.
Do you know what Turkish delight is?
No.
You don't?
I don't know.
It's what the White Witch was feeding the kids in Narnia.
Oh.
She kept tricking them with Turkish delight.
Between those two hills, whole rooms of Turkish delight. You will be king of Narnia. Turkish delight, Turkish delight, Turkish delight.
I lead the way.
That's about right.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so they get a call to go to, at first, they don't, I mean, they say, but they don't say what it is. They just say, but they're all kind of freaked out about this town.
Yeah.
Like getting a call to go to East Cleveland or something. Right? Or Watts or whatever, you know, somewhere where you know there's violence, you know that, but it felt even more than that. It felt like more like that like haunted woods in Japan.
Right.
So like it was both violent and spooky. Like they did not want to go to this area they had to go to for this call.
Then across the road, something ran across the road. It looked like a naked guy.
I don't know what that
And
was.
they didn't really explain that.
Because they stopped, and that was the second time we saw frogs. Remember, there was a frog earlier.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the frogs.
There's like an underlying frog theme.
Which, you know, they're considered a serpent, salamander,
Amphibian?
which is a fire sign. I mean, it's, so I don't know. There's no fire in this, but.
No.
But frogs can be messengers. They can be.
Yeah, they were certainly, they had their place in this because one of them was in the diner or something or in a guy's pocket. I can't remember the first time we saw him. It was something weird like that.
Yeah.
And then the first time that they had to pull the car over because someone ran across the street, they saw frogs. And then the second time they almost hit somebody and wrecked the van. It was twice.
Yeah.
And then that time, though, they got saved by those, I don't know what to call them, locals?
Well, if you remember, they did hit something. And that's what put them into the river.
That's why they crashed, yeah. And then that's when the locals came and saved them. But those people were touched, man.
Yeah, you could tell they were sort of on the edge of this world and that.
Yeah, and also on the edge of chromosomes.
Well,
like, they had birth defects and inbreeding, and there was something wrong with those people.
They're almost gypsy-like, it seemed
yeah.
like. But
that's a bad word.
A little off, is it?
Yeah.
Is that a bad word?
You're supposed to call them Romes.
Romes?
Yeah, like Romani.
Gotcha.
They prefer to be called Rome.
Oh, sorry, people.
Yeah, they were like nomad locals, but that even lends more to the fact that if that's a weird part of the city, then local people from that part have got to be real weird.
Yeah,
and they were. And then one of them knew the way to Santa Fe.
Do you know the way to San Jose?
You know, they had to get to wherever the fuck their call was coming from, and that dude led them there.
Yeah, well,
and then ran.
They do that.
They do that.
What is it exactly that you do?
He led them there, and then it turned out to be an abandoned police station, like an old police station.
Yeah, he said from the Ottoman era, which I don't know what era that would be, what time frame.
That must be a local Turkish thing. It can't be the Ottoman era like the 200s, because this was a normal building. Well, it was a weird fucking building, but it was modern-ish. So anyway, they get to this gosh damn building, and there's a cop car out front that still has the lights on, maybe?
No, it was dead.
Yeah, the doors were open, like it was. And then they get inside there, and there's just a cop standing there banging his head against the wall.
Yeah, and bloody.
Yeah, and they call out his name and like shine the light on him and stuff, and he turns, and he's got a bloody forehead because he's just been banging his head on the wall, and he looks terrified. And I'm like, get the goddamn light out of his eyes.
Little Blair Witch there.
Yeah, but I'm like, you know, they're trying to like get this guy. They're like, hey, dude, what's wrong with you? But they're blinding him, and he's obviously freaked out. So I don't fucking know. They're stupid. But then they ask, you know, hey, where's your other people? And he points down that stairway and basically breaks down just from pointing in that direction. Like emotionally, he has a breakdown because he couldn't even point because whatever's happening down there is so fucked up.
Pretty much the entrance to hell.
And that brings us to our next episode. We'll talk to you guys next week. Yeah, so then they get there and fuck, man. I mean, maybe we should tread lightly on what happens down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they get down there and...
Get chased.
It's a lot, man.
A lot of weird.
Actually, yeah.
There's a lot of weird people.
There's a lot of weird shit in the first section that they go to, and then they get chased and sort of taken to the main section where they wake up in, tied up. You know what I mean? Because remember that first section was just like people wrapped up in plastic, and they were still, you know, and like, oh my god,
you could tell they were,
yeah. You guys got to. I feel pretty strongly that we're gonna let that go right there.
Yeah, it turns into basically a purgatory.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That could be hell.
Loops. Yeah, well, kind of like in Hellraiser Part 2.
For me, purgatory
means repeating, and you kept doing the same thing over and over. And
I was told, or always led to believe, that purgatory was sort of like you go there to work off your sins.
Yeah.
All right, so let's say you got 100 years worth of sins. Well, you go to purgatory for 100 years, and then when it's over, you've earned your way into heaven. You go to hell, you go to heaven. But if you go to purgatory, you get to work your sins off. You get like a second chance, basically.
That didn't feel system then.
That didn't feel like purgatory to me. That felt like fucking hell.
Yeah.
And they ain't getting out. Ever.
Or they.
I dig that dude, man. You know who I dug even more? I dug his assistant.
So yeah, the
assistant guy with the tall, skinny guy.
Oh yeah, his helper. Right?
Yeah, he was cool, man.
But the main antagonist, he's a weird-looking guy.
Yeah, that's a really good demon-y. You know what it looks like? It looks like, do you remember in the Passion of the Christ and Satan, like that pretty Satan model?
Yeah.
And she had that weird little baby thing with her?
Yeah.
It's like that thing grew up and now works in Turkey in the hell off of West Hell in the Turkish hell.
And that wasn't makeup. That was his
That
face.
guy's just weird. Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy, though. I looked him up, actually, a few things about him. He just has some deformity that he played up to his full potential, man. Goddamn, dude.
Yeah, it gets pretty gruesome.
There's a lot going on in that basement, man.
It was sort of.
Why would it be so fucking deep, though? I mean, if it was a normal police station, is it going to be 7 stories deep? Or wouldn't you just have a basement with cells? Which there was. There were cells, you know. But they just kept walking.
Well, they crossed over at some point. They didn't really show it, but
is that how you feel?
Over. Yeah, I think so.
Into an ethereal version of the basement?
Yes.
I don't know about that.
Or maybe there is no border line. Maybe there is no portal.
I wanted to know what was going on upstairs where the dude came from. Because he came down from a separate set of stairs.
Yeah.
There's a spiral staircase in the back where all the people were kind of writhing around in like blood and shit and kissing and making up on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Behind them, there was a spiral staircase that he came down from. I want to go up there. Like that's his private quarters or something.
And so, yeah, they were all on the ground writhing around. And when he came out, you know, they obviously worship him.
Oh, they dropped to the ground and just worshipped him. Just, oh, man, dude, it's good stuff. Yeah, Baskin.
Oh, yeah.
So that was, and then what's funny is this is Mary's second time watching it, and she was surprised at how, to quote her, sort of artsy fartsy it was.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was so disturbed the first time about what happened in that basement that it blinded her to having seen all of the artfulness in the first half.
Yeah.
And then this time watching it sort of with her guard down because she knows what's coming. That she was more taken back by sort of because it's really kind of an art house movie.
Yeah.
In addition to the craziness at the end, it starts out really kind of, there's some dream sequences. Remember like when that dude sort of falls back into the water and then like that oversized hand comes into the water to pull him out and it's all like in slow motion and in black and white and it's really beautiful kind of. And, but along with there's just always, they did a really good job. In addition to sort of the beautifulness of it, there's this constant backing air of uncomfortableness.
Right.
Like even in the diner, shit don't feel right.
No.
In the dream scenes and when that kid is in his bedroom with his knockoff He-Man dolls, it's everything. You constantly have this, whoever the filmmaker is, which we should look up and give credit to, but there's this constant feeling of unease, which is exactly what you want, right? In a horror movie?
Yeah, that was done right.
God damn, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like you're not acting like you love it as much as you should.
No, you like it a whole lot more than I have.
Fuck yes,
how many
I
times
do.
you've seen it? 8?
At least.
Yeah. It was good. The end was.
But now that we're
obscene
talking about it out
and crazy.
loud, that stuff, I'm going to watch it again now to pick apart that sort of underlying visage of sort of uncomfortable. It's got to be from the music. It has to be.
You just want to see the girl dressed, naked girl
with the
goat
head. I do kind of want to see her.
She was special.
We're seeing each other. I mean, dude, it was really cool. I mean, you know what? I'm looking him up right now. Talk about something interesting, Jim. You don't
The
say.
word Baskin.
Oh.
It means surprise attack or raid in Turkish.
Really? Okay, that makes sense. It's kind of a surprise attack. Okay. All right, these are writing credits. I don't care about well, I do care about the writers. The writers for Baskin, I mean, dude, I couldn't even begin.
Can't even pronounce that.
Ogilkan, Aaron Akay, and Can Evrenol, and others. And Can Evrenol is the director. Let's see if Can has done anything else. Born and raised in Istanbul. Born in 1982. Kind of a young fella. What does that make him, 42? Which means he was in his 30s when he did Baskin. No kidding. Let's see what he's doing these days. He's got a few movies out. He's got a new one out. Sayara? Look at that. I wonder, is all of his stuff in Turkish? I feel like it is.
I would think so.
It's funny. It doesn't, I mean, I guess he wouldn't have to do all horror, but it doesn't look like all of his stuff's horror. I don't know. Maybe it is. The Field Guide to Evil. So his 3 in a row were Baskin in 15, Housewife in 17, and A Field Guide to Evil in 18. This looks like it might be, who's your guy? Lovecrafty.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't that look a little Lovecrafty?
Tentacles.
Family Requires Sacrifice. Man, I'm going to look into this guy's movies, man. And then The Field Guide to Evil. Ooh, man, that looks good. Feature-length anthology film. Myths, lores, and folk tales. Well. Look at you, Can. Because you can. All right, well, got anything else to say about this, Jimmy?
No.
All right, so...
Naked goat girl.
Yeah, Naked Goat Girl. I like that. So, in other words, we loved both of these movies. Baskin's really high on my list of newer movies. Jim liked it, but didn't love it as much as me. We both give Hellraiser our fair due, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Hellraiser?
Yes.
I wouldn't go that far. The series
1 and
is...
2.
Yeah.
3's decent.
3's awful. 4's fun.
And we didn't even talk about the new revised one that is a whole different kind of thing.
That's a different conversation to have altogether. We were talking about that too, gang. The idea of, maybe we should do some remakes, or maybe like we would do the old movie and then the remake, let's say Poltergeist, for example. But then we were like, there's just no way to do that because every single remake is going to be a bitch fest. We're never going to like them. Yeah. Certainly not as much as the originals. We're not going to like, Amityville Horror or Carrie or The Omen or fucking Friday the 13th.
So maybe you should go on,
Michael Bay.
Everybody on Facebook, just go on there and tell us what you want to see or hear.
Yeah. Tell us what you want us to talk about. We got a couple of good suggestions so far. There was a vote for Poltergeist, Children of the Corn. Those are definitely already on our list.
Exorcist 3.
Yeah, which I hadn't considered. Yeah. We'll have to do that. But definitely in the upcoming weeks and months, I mean, we're hitting October here pretty fucking quick. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have to be ready for that. It is the 50th anniversary of Texas Chainsaw Massacre this year, so we're going to have to do a chainsaw episode.
Yeah.
Maybe we can just use that episode to do, like, all of them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
2 was fun. Do you know 2?
Yeah.
With Chop Top or whatever, where he's, like, scratching the skin off of his metal head and eating it. Yeah. That's Bill Moseley,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Leatherface was good, the third one.
Yeah. That was good.
Then they get really, really ridiculous. Some of the new ones were okay.
Right.
But anyway, we'll have to do that. We got a big fucking release for Terrifier 3. You know, they keep moving it. They moved it back again. It's October 11th now. I mean, moved it forward.
Oh, wow.
So it was supposed to be like the 25th or something, and then it was going to be the 18th, and now it's the 11th. Like, they keep pushing it closer.
Yeah,
I got no argument with that.
Everybody's looking forward to that one, I think.
So we'll have to do a podcast. Maybe we'll do it that week.
Yeah.
And do All Hallows Eve, Terrifier, and Terrifier 2.
Yeah.
And then be ready for 3.
That'd be good.
Because, well, even that first one, that Ninth Circle or whatever, have you seen that yet?
No.
So that was the short film that they used to introduce Art the Clown, like the dude.
Oh, yeah.
He made like a 10-minute short film. And then they made like a 50-minute version of that film. And then they made All Hallows Eve. So by the time Terrifier came around, it was really Pinhead or Art the Clown's third movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm exhausted.
Now he's in a Santa outfit.
Oh, dude, it's going to be so great. Those trailers look fucking awesome. But all right, so in addition to that, yeah, obviously, well, maybe what we can do then, we'll start collecting some of these. We have such a long list of movies. Excuse me, but it could be fun. Doing, maybe in the month of October, doing a whole bunch of old school Halloween-y type stuff.
Yeah.
Because we got to do Halloween, the new Trick or Treat. You know, the new word Trick or Treat. I mean, it's pretty old, but you know what I mean with the thing, with that little thing with the lollipop.
Right.
What are some other good Halloween ones? Kind of broke the mold with Jason. I mean, with Michael. Nobody really attempted to do Halloween much.
No.
Although there's a few like Night of the Demons. They're having a Halloween party. It was a big costume party, remember?
Right.
So there's a few. And Terror Train is a costume party. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
your buddy's in that one. David Copperfield.
Oh, geez.
Didn't you guys hang out?
I met him, yeah.
Yeah, you guys were hanging out in Vegas, going through each other's mail.
He was getting his mail.
So, I mean, I guess that's got a Halloween touch to it.
Yeah.
All those ones at that time were so... Terror Train, Prom Night. It was always like some nerd that they like fucked with too far. Like they pantsed him in front of his girlfriend or something, in front of his crush, and then he came back and killed everybody.
Yeah, that happens in real life too.
It does. They do. People do make killers.
Yeah.
They're not just born. Many of them are made.
So I give Baskin, I'd 4 out of 5.
I was going out of 10.
Out of 10. So I give it 8 out of 10.
That's what I was going to give it.
Bloody Raincoats.
Yeah, I'll give it 8 Bloody Raincoats. Yeah, I'm with 8. I think 8's fair. I think for the reasons that I like it, I realize don't give it an extra star. It's just a personal thing for me.
Yeah.
The reasons that it's exciting to me, I can separate that from my Raincoat award.
Yes.
We didn't give any raincoats last time.
You sure?
I don't think so.
Oh. We will now. Bloody Raincoats is the thing.
Is that a raincoat? Yes, it is.
Yeah, we'll get them made of those. And then, so we'll have those to talk about. Shit, I don't know, man. There doesn't have to be a system. We could just go fucking rogue. And if we feel like, because I'd like to do Long Legs. I mean, we went and saw it.
Yeah.
There she is, the almost birthday girl.
I want to see it again.
Maybe we could do that next.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
Yeah.
Did you ever see Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer?
No.
Really?
I did not.
Oh, Jimmy, man. We got to see that one. We got to do that one. I'd like to see it again. I hadn't seen it in a long time. It was really fucking good. It's, what's his name? It's, the hell's that actor's name, man? He's Daryl's older brother in Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah.
You know who I mean? And
yes.
He's the bald blue guy in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
It's his like first movie or one of his first, and he's a serial killer. And it's basically like a documentary about this guy almost, but it's not a documentary, obviously. It's an acted movie. That one's good, man. We should watch that one together. Did you see, did you ever see Patrick? God, that movie fucked me up, man. I saw that when I was a little kid. I think it was Australian. I was way too young to see that movie, man. And the kid, there was a teenager or something, and he had telekinesis or something, and like he heard his mom banging her boyfriend in the next room, and he got into a coma or something, and so they kept him in the hospital, but he could like control things and was like killing people with his mind. They remade it not long ago, and it wasn't actually that awful, but that first one, man, I should not have seen that movie. It was a random, it's a really not that well-known movie either. It just must have been that month it was on Cinemax 3 times, and then it was never shown again. And I just happened to be up late watching it one of those times. Yeah, that movie was something. Yeah. Anyway, all right, guys. I think it's time to wrap up episode 4.
It is.
I'm Jim.
I am Jim.
I'm Jim.
So am I.
Hi, Jim.
Well, my name is Jim, but most people call me Jim.
Damn it, Jim, what the hell's the matter with you?
We'd like to thank you all for listening, and we'll be back to you as soon as we can. And we have to have some kind of sign-off, like something corny like Stay Bloody or Stay Glisteny with all the shitty 80s
goo,
moist
slime.
goo. Stay moist. Later.
See ya.